Well, 4 movies opening earlier this week. 3 are coming out on Christmas Day. Sean McBride, the movie guy, says one of them is a real treat for the whole family.
What's this?
It's a journal, so you can write to your son.
What do I write?
Tell him who you are, what you believe in, and tell him you love him.
Michael B. Jordan stars in A Journal for Jordan, the story of a soldier deployed to Iraq who starts to keep a journal for his infant son. Directed by Denzel Washington, this is a predictable and more than a little bit melodramatic movie, but there's no denying the appeal of this tearjerker family film that focuses on the power of family and a father's love for his son.
There's a comet headed directly towards Earth.
Do you know how many the world is ending meetings we've had over the last 2 years?
Drought, famine.
Hole in the ozone is so boring.
Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio star in Don't Look Up, a dark satire that was in theaters a few weeks ago and is now on Netflix. This is a story about 2 scientists trying to warn about a comet that's going to hit the Earth, only to find that politicians and the media don't seem to care. It's a very hit-and-miss comedy with good performances and several very funny moments, but not enough to fill the film's 2.5-hour running time.
I promised that I would take care of you and the kids. So that is exactly what I'm going to do.
If this is your dream, don't give up on it.
Finally, American Underdog, aka the Kurt Warner story about a guy who refused to give up on his dreams of playing in the NFL. Now, this is a well-made sports movie, which is always a crowd pleaser, but it doubles down on the importance of family, which gives the film an extra dose of emotion. If you're planning on taking your family to the movies this weekend, American Underdog is the best cinematic Christmas present of this week's new crop of movies.
This is my time. I know who I am, and I know why I'm here.
And that's what's new this week at the movies. I'm Sean McBride, the movie guy.
And Sean joins us in studio this morning. Talk a little bit about some of these movies. And, Christmas historically has been a big day for blockbusters. I didn't see anything that really hit me as a blockbuster.
Well, I mean, remember, the blockbuster was probably Matrix, which opened on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then also The Kingsman was expected, and Sing 2 is a blockbuster. So the blockbusters are there, kind of, but you've had a couple of extra days to get into them. And I will argue that American Underdog is expected to do very well. But it's, new. Do people go back to the theaters yet? I mean, it's not streaming. You've got to go to the movie theater to see this one. So
that's interesting because you mentioned Matrix. It's one of those, again, you would have expected, and of course, historically, go back 20 years, obviously, you went to the movie theater to see the original.
Right.
But yet, it's going to be released and has been released on HBO Max.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I watched it once in theaters and once on home. It's not the same experience. Obviously, I had to watch it again on home streaming because I didn't understand the plot the first time.
Oh, really?
It's
okay, so we haven't really had a chance to talk about it, so that's interesting. And of course, I'm not going to play down the movies here. I think that you explained them pretty well what they are. But it's also that time of the year that a lot of people start reaching back for the classics too. Right?
Yeah, exactly. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
I have so many. Of course, my newest one, I love Elf with my grandkids.
Oh, yeah,
it's just kind of a classic that we see. But It's a Wonderful Life is also one of those that has, if you don't know, great ties to Southeast Texas. Frank Capra actually came to Beaumont to premiere the movie
exactly.
at the Jefferson Theater.
Yes, exactly.
But somebody told me they're playing some of these old classics at the bigger cineplexes.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing that. The beauty of not having to ship a physical print everywhere is that you can get these movies into the Tinseltown or what have you, and you just have to send it over, over the airwaves, or streaming it. And so you get the opportunity to show it, one night only, a big thing.
Right.
Those theaters are just doing whatever they can to entice you to get into the movie theater. And sometimes it's a lot of fun. And remember, you can also rent the whole theater. So if you wanted to get 200 of your friends and go do a big old Christmas party where you watch A Christmas Story or whatever on the screen, I mean, you can do that as well.
What's your favorite?
It's probably A Christmas Story because 2 years ago we did that as a play, and so I became really invested in that movie.
Yeah,
so.
I tend to categorize as classic what I think of, maybe Miracle or something like that goes back, to the 30s, 40s, 50s maybe.
Yeah.
And then what I call modern, which would be the Elves, Die Hard.
Die Hard, I was going to say Die Hard.
I still never have quite figured out how that's a Christmas movie, but I'll go along with that if people want to make it that.
I love Die Hard too. So.
Yeah, and so let's talk just real quickly. If you had to see one of the new movies out, which one would you suggest?
It kind of depends who you are, but if you've got the whole family going to something, it's going to be American Underdog. This is a movie, they actually have that clip in the trailer from back in the day. Someone said, boy, this is a movie just waiting to happen. It is, it's the Kurt Warner story. So here's the guy, he didn't get recruited. He was working as a stock boy at a grocery store, but he never gave up on his dreams, and he goes and he ultimately becomes an NFL, a Super Bowl winning quarterback here. I think this is really well done. I think it is a sports movie. We love those sports money. We especially love the Underdog sports movies because there's just something about them that gets people excited. But it's a movie about family, and it's a movie about dreams. And I think all of that stuff works really well. I do think it's a little schmaltzy. I think it is the season for schmaltzy movies.
Right.
But I think, if you're taking a family to this, it's just a wonderful film. PG rated. I mean, come on. When do you see PG rated films that actually have some good drama in
And
them?
did I hear you say Denzel Washington directed the other?
He directed A Journal for Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah, so
he did.
Yeah, exactly. And it's Michael B. Jordan. It's like, I'm getting one of those names wrong. No, it's the same thing. So.
Right.
Another schmaltzy film, shall we say. It's a story about a soldier. He's been deployed to Iraq. He has an infant son. His wife gives him a journal and says, hey, start writing letters to your son. And you could probably guess what's going to happen, why that's important here. Very schmaltzy, once again, very saccharine. But, hey, sometimes you just want the feels. And
You need to quit using those two words. You need to say sentimental.
Sentimental, there
it's
you go.
It's very sentimental.
I'm a jaded old film critic. So.
You really are.
Exactly.
It's too schmaltzy.
Yeah, we can
for
see
me.
this.
Yeah.
But, okay, sentimental, and just in time for the holidays.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So whatever you got in store, enjoy some great movies, and we'll look forward to the new year too, with some promise, whether it's streaming or at the theater.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I think there are lots of things, but we don't have the Warners. How they put everything on HBO Max.
Right.
That is supposed to die now, so you're going to have to go back to the movie theaters to see those.
Really?
Who knows what Omicron does if they extend that? But right now, the plan is to take them off the streaming service. I must admit, I kind of enjoyed.
See,
being able to see them.
that's me too. But don't forget, you still have Hulu and Netflix who are producing big movies these days.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
maybe we don't have to go
Lots
far.
of opportunities.
Merry Christmas to you, Sean.
Happy Christmas to you,
All
and to
right.
everyone out there.